Hello everybody and welcome back to LRN and round 4 of the F1 2022 Championship on my team career mode. We are looking today to sort of make some moves, maybe get our first points. If you haven't seen the previous episode, make sure to go and check that one out first, as we did have a fantastic race. Some of the AI overtakes were absolutely brilliant. Don't want to give too many spoilers straight away, but it was really awesome. I really suggest you go and look at that one. The link to that episode will be in the description below, so make sure to go and click that now. But in the end, we did see a massive result for Ferrari and Mercedes, and actually Mercedes move ahead of Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship after what was a really dreadful race for Red Bull in the end. So if you do go and watch that one, look forward to that, and then loads of overtaking maneuvers around the new layout of Albert Park. So a really fun episode. But today we get into Imola, and a race I'm really excited for. I really enjoy this track, one I'm really looking forward to, and it's our first sprint race of the season. So again, first time in the F1 games having sprint races in them, so this is a really exciting episode for me to get to do this for the first time. But I'm just going to soak this lap in to start with, really try and get a feel for the track and the flow and how these cars feel around the Imola circuit. It's one of those tracks that's just really important to get that flow, similar to somewhere like Monaco, I feel, in the game, where it's more about a flow for the track, just taking almost not overthinking anything, getting your mind really into the sweeping corners. And it's certainly one that I really enjoy compared to maybe a couple others. Like Australia's never been my best track on the F1 games, but I certainly am getting really used to it, and I'm really glad that it's been added as a more of a permanent fixture in the F1 calendar. So that's certainly a good thing for me. As you can see though, we're setting pretty good time so far. Feeling pretty good, feeling like we've got some good pace. I definitely think we could pick up some more time around the first sector especially, but the second sector and third sector so far is feeling pretty good. As we come down the hill here, looking to go around the last couple of corners to set our time back on the main straight. Feeling pretty good through there, onto the last corner now. Again, pretty good. Back end stepped out a little bit, but I don't think we lost too much time. And we're going to come across the line to set a 1:19.1. So that does put us a second off Tsunoda. Obviously, Tsunoda driving the quicker AlphaTauri at this stage of the season. So I don't think that's too bad. But we're definitely going to want to go again and see if we can make up for the time that we lost in the first sector. So here we go again, see if we can make up some time around the first two corners. You want to carry as much speed through there as you can without compromising your exit on the second corner. As you can see, we've already gained nearly 3.5 tenths just through those first two, which is really good. Up to 4.5 tenths now by the time we come through that the rest of that section. We do lose some time, as you see there, around that final corner, but as we come to the end of the lap, we're now up to 6 tenths gained on our original attempt, which is a huge improvement. Up even more, but I don't think we've got the best exit there, so you can see it drops back down a bit, but that final corner again, brilliant exit, gaining another 2 to 3 tenths of a second, nearly a second gained overall, and puts us only 1.7 tenths behind Tsunoda, who we were chasing on our previous lap. But as you see, as we go for our third lap here, final attempt, Norris has put us off here on our line through the first couple of corners, because we did need to go again, see if we could. We've learned from Australia, where we actually only, Jeddah, where we only said a couple of times, and because of that, we didn't get through when I thought we were safe. So we're not going to make that mistake again. We're going to go for 3 runs. We are slightly up on our time there. You can see where Russell has put us off on the left-hand side. That's caused us to go wide. But we have managed to carry the speed through there, so we've still got a couple of tenths gained. It doesn't seem like the game's going to sort of delete times for things like that, so that's an improvement, and everything's on the strictest settings, so it will delete times until you cut the corners. But we do still gain a couple of tenths there. But in the end, as we go to the results of the qualifying session, this qualifying, of course, is for the sprint race. So this is how we'll start the sprint race, and how we finish the sprint race will be how we start the Grand Prix on the Sunday. We are only in P21. You can see how close it is at the bottom, only half a second from 17th to 22nd. So we were definitely in there in the fight, but still only 21st, which isn't ideal. But we'll go into the race looking to make up positions, hopefully starting better when we get into the final race on the Sunday.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, George Russell and Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Magnussen and Mick Schumacher, Bottas, Norris, Pierre Gasly and Tsunoda, Joe, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel and Alex Albon, Stroll, Latifi, Alexander and Richard Verschoor. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
So there we have it then, another good result for the Ferraris out at the front of the grid. I'll be looking to try and get ahead, obviously stay ahead of our teammate and make moves on the Williams and the Aston Martins in front. No real question on strategy. I'm lowering the fuel load. The safety cars seem to be quite prominent in this game this season, so I want to lower the fuel load just in case. You know, that if one does come out, I don't think we're going to have to save fuel, so better to run low, and then I can pretty much guarantee there'll be a safety car at some point, if not a VSC. But we'll be looking to make moves, as I say, on the Williams and the Aston Martins, and make the most of any potential DNFs or any other issues cars have, or any damage they receive and have to dive in the pits later in the race. As you see here, though, we're going through our formation lap, trying to get an optimal start on the starting grid. We do just come in as a good, though, so not quite optimal, but not bad at all. So we're going to aim to get a good start off the lights to 5 red lights, holding that optimal RPM, and away we go. It's not a great start. We see Verschoor's got a better start than us on the right hand side. He's straight up the back of Latifi, so Verschoor's had a really strong start. We're going to hit the RS and try and come up the back of Verschoor now, maybe see if we can go around the outside. Let's see what we can do here. Come up right behind Latifi, just avoid hitting him there. Definitely really hard on the brakes as we carry too much speed. There's clearly a lot of traffic through there, so they went a bit slower than I was expecting, but we managed to avoid any damage. So we're going to follow Latifi and Verschoor through here, take our time. Obviously simulation damage, we don't want to risk getting anything that's going to really hurt us into the latter stages of the race. We're going to go down the inside here, try and make a move on Latifi. He gets a little bit of a better exit than us, so we don't quite get that move done. But as we move up the hill, we're just going to go back and watch a replay of Mick Schumacher's start here, starting from 10th position, one of the stars of our season so far. He's straight up to 9th ahead of his teammate Kevin Magnussen off the line, and he's going to make an audacious dive around the inside of both of the Alpines in Ocon and Alonso, and now on the inside line going into the left-hander, already fighting for 6th position with Fernando Alonso after starting 10th. So again proving what a good driver Mick Schumacher's proving to be on the game this season, and again showing why we're already considering making him our teammate in the future. I certainly think he's going to be someone that could be a staple of our team if he can keep up this kind of form for the rest of the season. We can get him into our team maybe before one of the other top teams does, as he goes down the inside there of Fernando Alonso and confirms 6th place. As we come down the hill, go round the outside of Latifi and dive to the inside of Verschoor, activating the RS to go again get that move done and move ourselves back up to 20th after losing a position to Verschoor earlier in the race. He's obviously moved up ahead of Latifi as well, so that's good for our teammate and bodes well for the race the next day. As we see Perez now coming into the pits, he's got damage. He's clearly had a collision somewhere. We've missed where that damage has happened, but he's had to come in, which means we're going to gain another position now on Perez and move up to 19th. But for sure, our teammate is coming back at us, and Latifi behind in the slipstream of our car. So can we defend our position? For sure goes through, but he outbrakes himself and he goes straight off into the gravel, bringing out the yellow flag. I don't think it'll be bad enough to cost him or for him to drop out of the race, but we've got that position back from Verschoor, so we're going to remain in 19th. As we come to Guan Yu Zhou here, another star of our season so far, being put under pressure from Sebastian Vettel, trying to go around the outside of the sweeping right-handers, and he does get that move done. So Vettel now up to 14th after a really good move on Guan Yu Zhou, but we're back to us as we go around the outside of Alexander Albon, pushed out wide a little bit. We're going to carry that momentum though, keep that position on Albon and follow Stroll then up the hill. As you see Guan Yu Zhou in that fight, has he picked up damage with fighting with Vettel, because he's now come into the pits. And that's another position, so up to 17th now, but we've got Albon going past us on the main straight in the slipstream. Again, we'll try and get that move back and move ourselves back at 17th, but Albon just covers us off, and we're now going to have to bide our time and wait for another opportunity to get past Albon and back up to 17th. as we ride with Lando Norris now. We see there's a bit of a hold up there. I think one of the Alpines up front has gone off. I think Fernando Alonso, which has led Bottas to maybe go around the outside. Norris to make up a position on Kevin Magnussen and get himself up to 10th position. So big move for Norris there. But we see Magnussen now coming back at Lando Norris. This is for the final points paying position. Obviously only a sprint race. We've got a little bit of a tap of the wheel there with Norris and Magnussen, as we see Alonso now going up the inside of Bottas. So a big fight there from 7th to 11th as all these cars go at it. We've got the two Alpines now fighting the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas, with Fernando Alonso going down the inside of Bottas here as we head up the hill, but Bottas might get a better exit and look to make a move at the top of the hill into the sweeping left-hander. Will he get that move done? Let's see how this plays out as we go around the corner. It will be Alonso. It looks like Bottas got completely caught out, so Alonso remains in 7th place. Bottas down to 9th. Will he be put under pressure now from the cars behind as we see them piling up? Tsunoda coming up behind Norris. Really close fighting, and a massive train of cars going back to ourselves as we see now Magnussen is into the pits, and that's going to be another position gain for ourselves. We're now up to P17. We haven't managed to get past Albon yet, but we're going to gain that position back to 17th purely because Magnussen's gone off. But here we go. Oh, we've had Gasly off. Vettel's collided with him, and that's collected the two Williams as well of Albon and Latifi, as our teammate for sure also gets caught up in the carnage. We've managed to go around all this into P14, and that has brought out the safety car. So we've had now DNFs for Vettel, Stroll and Latifi. Gasly, it seemed you would expect to have picked up damage with Vettel hitting him behind, but from what I can tell, it's not any damage that they can fix, so he's stayed out. So Gasly's still out there in 13th, not pitted. So we're now behind the safety car, looking to restart, behind Gasly now. So we're in P14 with Perez behind us. Obviously, he came into pit earlier. He's made moves through the field and back up to 15th after his early pit stop for damage. And he's going to be on fresher tyres than us, so he's going to be a challenge to keep behind. But really happy at this stage of the race to be in P14. That's obviously if we could finish in P14 where we would start the next race, but we could get in the back end all out of sorts now as we are under pressure from Perez. But you can see on the top left that Magnussen has actually made a move on Perez, and hopefully that's going to give us some breathing space as we look to move away from that fight. We've now got the Alpines fighting each other with Alonso and Ocon. Alonso keeping that move and staying in 7th ahead of Ocon on the inside of that left-hander, as we come back to ourselves and see that Perez and Magnussen are still fighting behind us, taking each other out. I think with Magnussen now staying in position on the soft tyres, he obviously had damage as well, so he felt he could run to the end on the softs. He's going to be quick on those tyres, so it's no surprise that he's able to take the fight to Perez. But Perez with the superior car at the moment, but no, Magnussen's coming back up the inside, looking to get that move done. Is Perez still there on the right? We can see in the mirror that he's just behind now. Perez trying to get that move back on Magnussen. Will he find any space into this right-hander? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to have to bide his time now. On to the main straight though, we've got Gasly in front. We've got Magnussen flying up behind us as we take a line right down the middle, make the car as wide as we possibly can to protect that position from Kevin Magnussen, and hopefully pushing back into the clutches of Perez so they keep fighting. As we see here now, Perez has caught up to Magnussen as we get the back end all out of sorts, starting to lose grip, and hopefully, I don't think we may get a double overtake here from Perez. Is he going to go down the inside of us into this left-hander? No, we just about keep the position there away from Perez as he can't quite get through. We're just doing enough to cover him off. No weaving, we're just taking the racing line and he can't quite find the gap. As we see Verstappen now, Verstappen pulling over to the side. Another really bad result for Red Bull after the issues that they faced in Australia. He's now DNF, and Kevin Magnussen on the penultimate lap, the end of the penultimate lap, has come in for another pit stop. But unfortunately, Perez now just absolutely powering past us without Magnussen there to protect us. For them to fight, Perez has gone past Magnussen, obviously in the pits, and that's allowed him to get straight past us and up to 13th place. We're now defending from Guan Yu Zhou in the faster Alfa Romeo behind, another person who's had to pit this race. So he's finished as we see Carlos Sainz coming across the line for first, Leclerc second, Russell third, Hamilton fourth, Schumacher fifth was a fantastic result. The Alpines of Alonso and Ocon 6th and 7th, Bottas 8th, Lando Norris 9th, Tsunoda 10th, Ricciardo and Gasly 11th and 12th, Perez will come over 13th, and we will just about come across the line in 14th position ahead of Guan Yu Zhou and Alexander Albon. And not only that, but we will take home the driver of the day, so I'm really happy with that. chuffed to get that result in this car at this race. So it's a fantastic position to be going into the final race, and a really good opportunity to maybe make some moves with a good strategy and get some points. So I think we may play it interesting on the race on Sunday, see if we can do something that's going to really give us a chance, maybe do something different and push us up into the points for that main race. So we'll see how that plays out. But looking at how that race finished today, I think it's been another good result for the Ferraris. Obviously not great for the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. For our team, obviously Vishal made a couple of moves, so he'll start slightly further forward than where he did today. We're up to 14th place. The Red Bulls are only just going to be, in and around us, and at the back of the grid, obviously for Verstappen, who DNF'd, so he won't be happy with that. But really excited now to get into the main race on the Sunday, and we'll see how that one plays out. But I'm going to thank you so much for watching the race today, guys. Really looking forward to part 2 when we get into the main race. Make sure if you are new around here, to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon to be notified of all future uploads. It will only be a day or two until part 2 comes out, so make sure to look out for that one. Really excited to show you that. I hope you have a great day, guys. Goodbye.